Imagine you're a construction worker. You've been pulling long hours, racing against tight deadlines, and the pressure's piling up. You're stressed out, burnt out, maybe even reaching for a drink or something stronger just to get through the day. Now picture this, that mental fog leads to a slip-up on the job, a mistake that could cost you or one of your mates their life. Sound far-fetched? It's not. This is happening every single day in the construction industry, and it's a danger we don't talk about nearly enough. Hey, I'm no stranger to this world. I've spent years around job sites talking to workers, supervisors, and safety pros, and there's one thing I've learned. Mental health is the hidden hazard we've all been ignoring. We're so focused on the obvious stuff, falls, machinery mishaps, electrocutions, that we miss the silent killer creeping up on us. Stress, burnout, substance abuse, they're not just personal problems, they're safety risks, and they're putting lives on the line. Hit you with a number that'll make your jaw drop. Did you know construction workers are 6 times more likely to die by suicide than from a workplace accident? 6 times! That's not just a statistic, it's a wake-up call. And it's not just about suicide. Mental health issues are costing this industry billions every year in lost productivity, mistakes, and accidents. Billions! So why aren't we talking about this? Why are we still pretending it's all hard hats and harnesses when the real danger might be what's going on inside our heads? Here's the deal. Construction is tough. You're out there in the heat, the cold, the rain, busting your gut to get the job done. The hours are brutal, the stakes are high, and there's this unspoken rule that you've got to suck it up and push through. But that pressure, it builds. It turns into stress that keeps you up at night, burnout that makes you feel like a zombie, and sometimes even habits like drinking or drugs just to numb it all out. And when you're in that state, exhausted, distracted, or impaired, your reaction times slow down, your judgment gets shaky, and that's when accidents happen. Let me tell you about a guy we'll call John. This happened back in 2021 on a high-rise site in the UK. John was a solid worker, years of experience, knew his stuff. But behind the scenes, he was battling depression and anxiety. He wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating right, and the weight of it all was crushing him. One day, he's up on the scaffolding, and his head's just not in the game. He forgets to clip his safety harness properly, something he'd done 1,000 times before. Next thing you know, he's falling. By some miracle he survived, but he broke half the bones in his body. That fall wasn't just about a loose clip. It was about a mind that couldn't focus because it was drowning in stress. Then there's another story that sticks with me. This one's about a crane operator. Let's call him Mike. Mike was the kind of guy who'd work double shifts to keep the project on track. Everyone admired his grit, but what they didn't see was the burnout eating him alive. He was running on fumes, physically and mentally. One afternoon, he's lifting a heavy load, and his fatigue kicks in. His hands slip, his timing's off, and the load swings wild. It misses a group of workers by inches. Inches! That near miss could have been a disaster, and it all traced back to a guy who was too worn out to function. These aren't just random one-offs. Studies show that mental health struggles, like depression, anxiety, or even just plain exhaustion, make you way more likely to mess up on the job. Slower reflexes, bad decisions, missed warning signs, it's a recipe for trouble. And in construction, trouble doesn't just mean a slap on the wrist, it means someone doesn't go home at the end of the day. So what's the fix? Look, I get it. Talking about mental health feels weird, especially in an industry that's all about toughness, but we've got to start somewhere. And it's not as complicated as you might think. If you're a worker out there, listen up. You've got to look out for yourself. Notice when you're off. Maybe you're snapping at people, can't sleep, or just feel like you're dragging through mud. That's your cue to do something about it. Talk to someone, a mate, your boss, even a professional if you can. It's not weak to ask for help, it's smart. And little things matter too. Get some decent sleep, Eat something that's not from a servo, maybe take a walk to clear your head. You'd fix a busted tool, right? Your mind's no different. But this isn't just on you. Companies, you're in this too. If you're running a site, you've got to step up and make mental health part of the safety conversation. Offer resources, think counseling hotlines or employee assistance programs. Train your managers to spot the signs. Someone who's checked out or on edge might need more than a pep talk. And for God's sake, build a culture where blokes feel okay saying, "I'm not all right," without getting laughed off the site. A crew that's mentally sharp is a crew that's safe. It's that simple. Here's some real practical stuff you can do right now. If you're a worker, start small. Take a break when you're fried. 5 minutes can reset you. If you're feeling swamped, tell someone. Doesn't have to be a big speech, just, "Hey, I'm struggling," can open the door. And try something like deep breathing or stretching. Sounds soft, but it works. For companies, get serious. Write up a mental health policy and mean it. Run a quick training session. Half an hour on spotting stress could save a life. And make it normal to check in. Ask your team how they're holding up, not just what's on the schedule. This isn't about coddling anyone, it's about survival. A worker who's got their head on straight doesn't miss that loose bolt or skip that safety check. A company that cares about its people doesn't lose them to preventable tragedies. We've got the tools to fix this, we just need to use them. So where do we go from here? If this hits home for you, if you've seen this stuff play out on your site or felt it yourself, I want you to do me a favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so we can keep this conversation going. And if you want more tips, more stories, more ways to stay safe, head over to HSEStudy.in. They've got resources that'll back you up, whether you're on the tools or running the show. Mental health isn't the soft stuff we can ignore anymore. It's the hidden danger that's been staring us in the face, and it's time we faced it back. Let's make construction safer, not just for our bodies, but for our minds too. Stick around because we're just getting started.